Hello, Shoyan here. Today, I'm working on my final project at this build site. I'll be making a wood deck that runs from the front edge of the house to the sliding glass door on the side. Nice and spacious. Let's get started. It's been a while since I last built a wooden deck. The owner has requested a deck leading to the front door. This will be an American-style deck with a railing. Since parts of the deck will be exposed to rain, I'm using all hinoki cypress. I start by processing the sawn timber in my workshop. The deck boards have already been run through a molder at a lumber mill. All the materials came bundled together in one package, so I start by sorting everything to keep track of the various parts. Then I'll cut whatever I can here in the workshop. First, I mark and cut the frame pieces. There is one corner post and another post for the railing. The beams will run underneath, forming a surrounding frame. I cut those frame pieces now. Most of the frame is 105 mm by 105 mm. The wood is kiln-dried hinoki cypress, so it is thoroughly dried. I'm spacing the joists 900 mm apart and 40 mm thick deck boards will go on top. Back in the day, I used to sit properly while sharpening my tools, but my knees have started to hurt. So now, I sit in this wide-legged position while sharpening. I guess that officially makes me an old man carpenter. To cut the wood, I'm using a 15 cm deep-cut circular saw, commonly called an Omaru saw. It's been a while since I used this big one. I don't often get the chance. I don't own a mid-sized 12 cm deep-cut circular saw, even though a lot of other carpenters have one. Back in the day, we used to cut huge pieces of timber, so I figured having the biggest saw would cover everything. Even for mid-sized pieces, I would just use the biggest one. I used to cut mortises and tenons for every post in deck construction, making precise, pretty tricky joints. But after 7 to 10 years, these joints start to rot from the inside. Mortises are bound to loosen over time, letting water seep in. Once water gets in, it can't drain out, and the inside of the post starts to rot. Deck boards get wet but dry quickly. However, water trapped in a mortise doesn't dry out. It just sits there after every rainfall, speeding up the decay. That's why I now keep my joints as simple as possible, avoiding any design that traps water. Now I've finished the rough cut of the frame. Like I mentioned, the joinery here is very simple. The end of the joist just fits into a 15mm notch. I'll work on the deck boards and railing later. For now, I will transport the frame and assemble it. The next day, I got started assembling the frame. But right in the morning, it began pouring rain. I waited for a break in the rain to start working again. To make things worse, my laser level broke the day before. It wouldn't turn on. At the last minute, I borrowed this one from a fellow carpenter. Tools always seem to fail when you need them most. I begin by framing the outer perimeter. I'll join the beams to the posts by sliding them in from the side with another row towards the exterior wall. The joists span the beams at 900mm intervals and the deck boards will go on top. I first make a simple 15mm notch in the post. Then I will join the beams without cutting a tenon, just sliding them in from the side. Ideally, there wouldn't be any notches at all to prevent water collection, but that's not practical and it doesn't look good either. Since the posts are securely fixed, this method is sturdy and prevents water buildup. Now I join the beams to the posts. Even though I pre-cut them to size, things rarely fit perfectly on the first try. I only cut one end in the workshop. I measure the length on site and cut the other end to the exact size. That's the most reliable way to do it. Today, Japanese public broadcaster NHK came to film a segment. My work didn't change at all, but I felt a bit awkward being on camera. I was just nervous about being interviewed while working. The frame along the wall consists of two beams joined together. I set plastic posts underneath to support them. Plastic posts are perfect for height adjustments before installing the actual wood posts. Then I installed the 1200mm joists. Again, the notches are just 15mm deep, nothing complicated. I've finished installing the frame that connects to the posts. However, the deck is L-shaped, attached not just to the front but also to the right side of the house. So there will be another rail post in the corner. I first use a laser level to measure the correct height on one side and mark it, then use that as a reference to mark the other side. As long as everything is level, I could check the height in 2 or 3 spots, but since the borrowed laser is a bit hard to see, I'm just checking in 2 places. For the railing posts and support posts, I attach 20 mm thick footings. These keep moisture from seeping in from the concrete slab, helping with drainage and preventing water buildup. They're really useful. Next, I work on the support posts, my least favorite part. First, I use the laser level to make sure the frame is perfectly level on both the outer and wall sides. The plastic posts help with height adjustments. Then, I place the post footing and cut the post to the right height. Since the concrete slab is sloped for drainage, I can't just cut the post straight with a miter saw. The bottoms need to be angled to match the slope, while the tops need to be straight. Cutting these posts is tricky because even a slight shift in position affects their fit to the uneven concrete slab. I ended up cutting and adjusting them multiple times. With the frame and post set, I move on to the rim joist along the front beam. The frame is made from standard kiln-dried lumber with knots, which the rim joist helps hide. I will also be building stairs in the front. Since the structure is almost the same as the deck, the rim joist will look like a stair riser. I start working on that. The downspout bracket overlapped the rim joist by about 2 centimeters at the bottom, so I remove it and reinstall it slightly lower. For extra hold, I glue the rim joist and screw it in from the inside. I thought about screwing it in from the front, which the designer said would be fine, but I didn't like the idea of visible screws on the front rim joist. So I secured it from the inner beam side instead. I've built a lot of decks, but this is the first time I've used a rim joist for capping along the front beam. Sometimes the rim joists are raised to cover the deck boards, but I haven't tried building that style yet. While I don't mind if rim joists hide the edges of the deck boards, I personally prefer to leave the ends exposed. To me, a real wood deck has the ends of the deck board exposed, with the rim joist simply capping the bottom. This design looks gorgeous on this L-shaped deck. I finished building the frame for the wood deck. This is going to be a big deck. Next time, I'll install the deck boards, railings, and stairs. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.